Okay, folks, I have to stay quiet here because I'm in my room and there's people sleeping nearby, but with these headphones on, it has a pretty good microphone so you can hear me. I'm doing another video here about something that I feel pretty strongly on, and that is that everyone should be free to have the attractions that they have to whoever they have attractions to in life. And really, like, this extends farther than maybe even should be, even acceptable, except for the fact that, you can be attracted to anybody you want. You just can't act on attractions that are illegal or immoral. Now, if you're attracted to a woman who's not attracted to you, obviously you can't act on that by raping the woman. That is wrong, It's just should be pretty obvious. Obviously, it's illegal. Some men might think that in some societies where there's no law enforcement that it's okay to do this, but I have a hard time understanding. Maybe some sadists are attracted to women who aren't attracted back to them. I can't understand that perspective because I don't find the idea of raping somebody in any way, shape, or form exciting. So it's hard for me to understand men who think this way. But obviously, you can't act on an impulse to be with a woman that doesn't want to be with you. However, if you haven't attracted to them, that's just reality. That's the natural state of things, You can be attracted to them on your own. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you don't, act on it. You might give the women you're attracted to the ick, as they say. They might be repulsed by you for sensing that attractiveness. But as long as you don't act on it, there's nothing wrong with that attraction, It is what it is. Same thing even with pedophiles, Sure, on some level, it certainly feels like it's morally wrong to be attracted to, young children. I'm not attracted to young children. I have no interest now. Maybe I could say I'm attracted to, there's some girls who are, let's say 16, There's some very attractive girls at 16 that guys my age, it's not like this is, maybe some women might find this disgusting. There's a lot of guys my age that are attracted to girls that are 16 years old, okay? Shouldn't be any real surprise. I'm not specifically attracted to girls that are 16. There's just some girls that are 16 that are very well developed for their age, Am I going to try to sleep with a 16-year-old girl? No. I'm not going to try to do that. It's illegal. You get in serious trouble for it. And the chances of success are so minute that it's never going to happen, I wouldn't do it just because it's illegal, because I'm sure their father would kill me. But there's nothing wrong with that attraction. If you're attracted to a girl who's 16, that's acceptable. You just can't act on it, There are women I know, I've been around women who've expressed attraction for, it's not like this is just exclusive to guys. I've been around, family members who were when they were in their, let's say, late teens, expressed attractiveness to boys as young as like 10 years old. That seems like it's really weird, right? I almost give them credit for being honest about the fact that they were attracted. Are they going to act on that? No. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're attracted to a boy who's 10 years old, as long as you don't act on it. If you're a girl, I'm talking about if you're a girl. If you're a guy, if you're a girl, it doesn't matter. Obviously, I think, I personally don't think, I have no interest. Personally, I'm not attracted to any girl under the age of 16. Maybe there's some 15-year-old girls that, are very advanced for their age, but, any girl that hasn't already gone through adolescence or puberty is not attractive to me at all in any way, shape, or form. I can't understand how I just don't understand how pedophiles can be, actively interested in pursuing that kind of thing. I don't even understand how Jimmy Page was at, if you don't know, Jimmy Page was known to have had a sexual encounter with a girl who was 14 years old, from what I understand. I can't even understand that. 14 is pretty damn young. I don't think there's ever been a 14-year-old girl I looked at and said, "Oh yeah, I want a piece of that." But but you never know. There's always anomalies. There are always people who mature at very young ages for, there's statistical anomalies. It's not common. But, Jimmy Page got away with it for some reason. People don't call out Jimmy Page for having gotten it on with a, young adolescent. But all I'm saying is the attraction itself, you can't question the attraction that exists, Even pedophiles who I can't understand that attraction. If that attraction exists, are they supposed to feel like, that it's, that are they supposed to deny that attraction exists, If you're a pedophile, do you deny that you're attracted? You can't act on it. This is ironclad 100%. You can't act on it. But does that attraction, if you're a pedophile, does the attraction itself, is that a moral wrong because it exists, I feel like with attraction, it's not something we can really control. We're all attracted to who we're attracted to. I feel for pedophiles on some level because they probably don't want to be attracted to pre-adolescents, Maybe it's something wrong neurochemically. Maybe there's something in their environment that made them that way. I'm sure they don't want to be attracted to kids, It's sort of a curse of the environment or God. And I guess it's their job. Obviously, they have to suppress those feelings because if they ever acted on them, it can ruin their lives. Most people just resent pedophiles, And I understand any pedophile who acts on his desires probably should be resented. But can you hate them for having that desire? It's hard to say that. It's something that exists naturally. People are not always in control of what they want. So anyway, I spent a lot of time focusing on much more dangerous areas here, but now I'm going to extrapolate this to a larger segment. There's a lot of shaming going on. There's a lot of people who would like to manufacture people's desire and say, you should desire a certain thing, because that's what's suitable to be desired, So people would say, especially a lot of feminists these days, have the idea that an older man shouldn't be attracted to a younger woman. That because of the age difference or because of, emotional differences or whatever, older men should not be attracted to younger women. Now, I was attracted to a few of the younger girls I worked with. And a lot of girls, or a lot of feminists or women in general would say, that's wrong. It's wrong for me to be attracted to younger girls. They would say, you should be attracted to women your own age. I personally am not attracted to women over the age of 40. I don't think it has anything to do. It could be, maybe it's for psychological reasons. I don't know. It's probably, maybe part of it is because I never got to be with younger girls. And so I desire a past that I didn't get to live out, And, maybe that makes me developmentally deficient in some way. But, there's this idea like it's my fault, and, I suffered trauma when I was young. That trauma made it hard for me to relate to other people. And I pulled away from other people. I just assumed people are not good, people are bad. I sort of pulled myself away from other people because I just, based on my personal experiences, I decided that, I couldn't trust anyone. And so that's why I didn't get to have those experiences with younger girls when I was younger. And so now that I'm older, I'm just supposed to move beyond that. And I think there's this idea just because I'm older that I'm not supposed to, still be lusting over young girls. Now maybe my lust over girls who are younger. I'm not trying to say that younger, because like I said, I'm mostly going after girls. In my mind, I'm attracted to girls in their 20s, not, before that. But I don't have interest in girls in their teens particularly. But, a guy like me supposedly is not supposed to like girls in their 20s. Maybe it's because I've had some developmental deficiencies, right? Because of the trauma I suffered as a child. But is it wrong? Is it wrong because of something that happened to me that I really had no control over, that ended up leaving me to act in a way that, reduced my opportunities when I was younger and put me in a situation now where, I want to recapture that youth. Is it wrong for me to want to recapture that youth? Is it wrong for me to want the things that I denied myself because of, what seems like a logical, emotional reaction to the world? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to recapture a past that you never had. Maybe it's not successful. Maybe it doesn't make logical sense. Maybe it wouldn't work out if I had a relationship with someone in their 20s. Statistically, it probably wouldn't work out, but there's nothing wrong or illegal about the desire. There's nothing wrong. And this is the point I'm trying to make here. Do you have to have an attraction to trans people if you're not particularly attracted to trans people? I think there's an idea that the reason why men are attracted to what they're attracted to is because of some societal conditioning, But is that wrong? Is it wrong to like people because that's what you're societally conditioned to like? Does it make you a better person to go against societal conditioning? Should you be expected to desire things that are different than what you naturally desire because it will move things along in a progressive direction? I believe in progressivism. I have no problem with trans people generally. I want to respect everybody. I have no problem with gay people. I want to respect everybody. That doesn't mean I have to be attracted to them. I don't have to be attracted to trans people. I'm not attracted to people that are to women that were born biologically female who are taking medications that taking testosterone to make themselves more masculine. I don't have to be attracted to that. It doesn't make me a bad person because I'm not attracted to that. If and if a woman, I may be attracted, if I'm attracted to young girls and they're not attracted to me, I don't expect them to be, Why would they be? I'm not exactly the type of guy most young girls are looking for. I understand this, and I understand how they feel. When I was in my late 20s, I think it was, maybe it was early 30s, there was a woman who was probably in her mid 50s or so who was showing real signs while I was working as a chauffeur. There was a woman who was at a hotel where I was working, and she was giving me some serious eyes, She was like obviously showing overt interest, and she was in her maybe, I don't know, late 50s, something like that. And I was totally turned off, I wanted nothing to do with her. She was too old for me. And not to say that there aren't women who are in their 50s that aren't still decent looking, but this is not one of them as far as I was concerned. So, I understand what it's like from the other side. I was repulsed, So I understand if a woman in her 20s, if she saw me, looking at her longingly, would be somewhat repulsed. That's fine, But there was nothing wrong with that woman in her 50s looking at me and being interested in me. There's nothing wrong with that, I was young and good looking. It's fine, I personally didn't want it. Doesn't mean there's something deficient in the woman looking at me. She was well within her right to be attracted to me if she wanted to. Any woman in her 50s or 60s or 70s or any age is well within their right to want a guy in his 20s or 30s. That attraction may not be reciprocated. There's nothing wrong with the desire. And I think it's the same is true. There's a lot of women who want to shame older men for being attracted to younger women. And if you're a younger woman and you're repulsed by attraction from older men, that's fine. You don't have to like it. But it doesn't make the person who is attracted to you deficient. you know, anyone's attraction is valid. People shouldn't be shamed for having attraction to anyone as long as it's not. I don't even think people should be ashamed for having attraction to, I don't think pedophiles should be ashamed for having attraction. They should be ashamed for acting on it. But I don't think any attraction to anybody is, makes them a deficient person. You don't know what that person's gone through in their lives that's led them to, maybe they were abused when they were children. And that's why they're attracted to children, because they're just living out that cycle of abuse. Certainly it's unpleasant that anybody, it's usually older men that are into the, these prepubescent children. And certainly it would be a better world if that attraction didn't exist. It would be better off if men weren't attracted to anybody before the age of puberty or even before the age of 18. But I don't think you can damn people for what they're attracted to. And on a similar note, I don't think you can damn people. A lot of people over the years, even when I wasn't older, even when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was attracted to a certain type of woman. And a lot of people questioned my attraction. They said, you have to be more realistic, There's a lot of this talk, like, people want to control your attraction. They want to force you to lower your standards, They think they know better than you what you should be attracted to. I always used to resent that, and I still do. I don't think anyone has the right to decide what you should be attracted to. If back then, I thought I was pretty good looking when I was a kid, when I was younger. I've got the video to prove it. You want to go back and look. I had girls on YouTube tell me they thought I was attractive. But I don't know how good looking they were. I think back in the old days, outwardly I probably looked like, if I had to rate myself back then, I'd say I was like an 8, outwardly. Inwardly I wasn't really an 8 because of social issues or because of mental issues and because of some body issues. So, in reality I wasn't an 8. But on the outside, I could have been mistaken for an 8. And a lot of people tried to tell me that I didn't have the right to look at other girls who were an 8 or, a 9 or a 10, and that I didn't have any right or to, that I had to be more realistic or, that my standards were too high. I think it's ridiculous, Was there a good likelihood that someone who was an 8 or a 9 or a 10 of the opposite sex was going to be interested in me? No, because like I said, I had those issues. And I knew that deep down. That's why I probably didn't try very often with women who were very attractive, because I knew that I had issues that when they came to the fore were not going to be accepted well. But there was nothing wrong with that desire, And for people to tell me that I needed to lower my expectations, look, you keep your expectations high and they say no, you end up alone. That's fine, Either they say no or you don't even try. You end up alone. That's okay. You can have expectations that are too high for yourself. If you end up alone, that's your decision. You made that decision. If it's worth it to you, if you want to drop your standards, fine, drop your standards. But don't think you have to. I don't think there's any requirement to be attracted to anybody. Don't let anyone tell you what your attraction should be or what your, or what you deserve. And meanwhile, some of these women who I might have been attracted to who were 8s, 9s, and 10s, on the inside, they may have had something wrong, Maybe they weren't really 8s, 9s, and 10s. Maybe they just looked like 8s, 9s, and 10s. Maybe they were just like me. Maybe they had major issues. Maybe there were things wrong with them that brought them to be significantly less than an 8, 9, or 10 visually. And if I'd managed to, be successful with any of them, maybe we would have been more well-matched than I would have realized. Or maybe they would have even been lower on the scale because their deficiencies were so great, I would have been better off not being with them, This is why you shouldn't let anyone tell you who you should be attracted to. In the end, I ended up alone because maybe my standards were, it's a combination of my standards being maybe too high and also the fact that I was antisocial and I didn't try a lot. I didn't put myself out there. you're a 6 and you want to put yourself out there all the time and make a lot of passes at 8, 9s, and 10s, go for it. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't, you know. If you end up alone because you're shooting too high, well, you ended up alone, but that's your decision. You know, the same goes for both men and women. You know, a lot of times I sound here that women should be more attracted to men who have great moral fiber, more ethical fiber. You know, I believe that's would push humanity forward. But the reality of the matter is, you know, they're allowed to have any preference they want. If girls want to go after bad boys, if girls want to go after high status men, regardless of their ethics or whether or not they push humanity forward, that's their choice, you know. Personally, I'd like to see them go after guys who are more, you know, have scruples and ethics and empathy rather than who are socially dominant, have positions of high status. But this is just my preference. Girls, just like girls can have a preference for guys, older guys, to not go after younger women. But in the end, you make the choices you make, and you live with the consequences, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I guess all I'm saying is, stop shaming people for their attraction. You know, don't act on any impulses that are illegal or could do damage to people who, you know, don't have the capacity to make decisions as an adult. And don't, obviously, never rape anybody. But after that, anything goes. Anyone who tells you otherwise, anyone tries to shame you for what you want, don't listen to these people. They can just shut their mouths. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.